What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. Hope everybody's doing well, and let's dive into today's video. So first up, per yesterday's video going over the ETP ETF application by Bitwise that was legitimate. So we can see Bitwise confirming right here. Today we filed an initial registration statement on Form S1 for a new Bitwise XRP ETP or exchange traded product. So this is really good news, and we'll dive into this in today's video super quick. And right here, Anders shares this. For anybody curious or wondering about the wording of the ETP, remember in yesterday's video we shared the Bitwise ETF application, and notice that Bitwise is calling it an ETP, an exchange-traded product. He highlights here ETFs are a subset of ETPs. Now, obviously, Bitwise is huge. You can learn more at bitwiseinvestments.com, and we can see backed by a bunch of institutions and individuals. So we have Blockchain Capital, we have Coinbase, and more. And we have Nate right here saying this: Bitwise positioning to file for an XRP ETF is highly noteworthy in my opinion. In the short term, this is likely a call option on the November election. But Bitwise is a highly credible crypto-native fund firm that doesn't just throw stuff at the wall. That's simply not in their DNA. This is strategic. So it's official, Bitwise sees value in XRP, going over it right here, highlighting DeFi, real-world asset tokenization, EVM interoperability, typically processing transactions in seconds with fees under 1 penny, also highlighting more than 5 million active wallets and a decade-long track record of reliability, one of the world's largest crypto assets with a market cap above 30 billion. Now this shouldn't be too surprising because we've shared clips of Brad Garlinghouse, and he seems to be very confident that we see XRP spot ETFs in 2025. And we have other issuers with live ETPs today like 21 shares. You can just Google 21 shares AXRP to see this, with AUM of over $68 million. So just imagine a bunch of these. And also just going to Blockworks and looking at the Ethereum ETF tracker and looking at the name of some of these issuers for the spot Ethereum ETF. We have 21 shares, VanEck, Grayscale, BlackRock, Hashtax, Invesco, Fidelity, a bunch of organizations, and a lot of these are likely going to start other crypto spot ETFs in the future, even if it's just like Solana, XRP to start. And we're seeing Bitwise with the XRP ETP. We're probably going to see a lot more issuers in the future for assets in the top 10, top 20, maybe even top 50. And for virtually the highest majority of altcoins out there, including XRP, to see sizable retracements or large pumps, at least during the last 2 cycles, XRP moved during this time, when Bitcoin dominance crashes, and then Bitcoin is leading the way, drawing major moves and all-time highs. So either are waiting to see Bitcoin draw its first major move anytime between now and May, hopefully sooner than later, or the crash of Bitcoin dominance. So will the future be different? Will XRP pump on its own? I'm not sure, but at least in history, Bitcoin has led the way first, drawing at least that first initial wave, and then the crash of Bitcoin dominance comes. And then for months, different assets take turns rotating, drawing multi-100% or even multi-1000% moves. So as I've shared before, that is exactly what history has shown us. Will it be different? Maybe, but at least in the past, the exact same dates of the last 2 alt seasons are when XRP pumped last. So right here, a 500x, and during the lawsuit, it did over a 10x return. So this time, XRP is not a security, so it could be very different. So I don't care if this sounds stupid, this is what the monthly chart shows. This is the highest time frame, a very boring time frame, but it paints an obvious picture, and we are in a setup for another alt season in the future. Even measuring the longest cycle, we're still not actually at that point from the high until getting the first major move. When you're measuring here, that would take us up until May. Even other assets like QNT, after reaching an all-time high price from last cycle, it did crash 90%. It's been consolidating ever since. If you want to see the full price chart, you can go to charts.cointrader.pro to look at the price history back here when it was under $5, when it was under $1. And I know I shared this weekly fair value gap a long time ago. I didn't know if it was going to actually close that. I was just watching that imbalance. I thought originally when Bitcoin blasted to an all-time high in March that we're actually going to draw our first major moves by May if we're going to be comparable to the 2017 cycle, and we've been consolidating for 6 months. But if you go on Twitter, you're going to see a bunch of holders, anybody holding assets that are down 80%, 90% plus. They're called a scam, but we haven't had the next alt season. So for a lot of these assets, QNT, HBAR, etc., we need to reclaim this 50-week moving average. When do we do it? I don't know. I want to see Bitcoin's first major move. So at least what's running through my mind right now, looking at the last 3 cycles that have happened over the past 10 plus years, if we get another, that would mean Bitcoin draws major moves and all-time highs. 100k, 150k, 250k, we'll see, but historically that leads the way. 4. Bitcoin dominance to also crash as Bitcoin is creating higher highs, and this is what's led to the last 2 alt seasons. Now, what if Bitcoin doesn't draw major moves? If Bitcoin dominance crashes, will alts still retrace? The usual relationship is when the Bitcoin price chart goes up and Bitcoin dominance goes down, it means that there's new volume or inflows into the crypto asset class and it's actually flooding the altcoin market. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but either way, I expect when we see Bitcoin dominance find its top and actually draw a sizable crash back to the lows, I expect the altcoin market to go up. And that's what we saw last cycle even when HBAR finally had an alt season and blasted all-time highs. The same thing for assets that haven't been around for an actual alt season like Casper. We can see on the weekly time frame we did hit the S3. Could it be the bottom? In theory, yes. I just didn't see a strong retracement. We got the monthly RSI over 30, but we didn't really get some strong price action, and we're still well below the 50-week MA. So there's a lot of rumors out there. I do want to see Casper Labs have better transparency because until then, I'm not sure if this is the bottom. It could be the bottom as the S3, but if it's not, this is my next point of interest in this purple box. Now, if the rumors are valid that we've discussed, then I am concerned. If there's nothing to worry about and I'm overthinking it, then Casper should be fine during an actual alt season. Now, the Casper Association has been fairly transparent, has been providing more information, but I want to see more transparency from Casper Labs because they need to earn our trust back. Now, for the bears out there, I just don't see it. I believe we are in a setup for another cycle, another liquidity cycle, as Raul has highlighted. I've looked at so many other things, comparing the previous cycles, the cycle lengths, etc., and nothing has changed. We're still holding an uptrend. So if we blast soon, awesome, but if we come down to the trend line, I'm fine because we're still holding the uptrend. So I know there are a lot of bears out there considering the global macroeconomic environment, and rightfully so. I'm not making fun of it. I just don't see that. I see the argument for another liquidity cycle. Markets are irrational. We see BlackRock in the news positioning Bitcoin, all of those things, and usually during an actual bull run, you're going to see these organizations really hype it up. I think it makes more sense for sentiment to get very low, alts to go very low, then we get another cycle, Bitcoin blast, and then alts go up, and as we actually go a lot higher, then they can sell on us. I think for most whales, like we've seen during these traditional 4-year cycles, is it makes sense to get a bunch of liquidity, get a bunch of hype in the system again before a major crash. Next up, so I saw some news related to gold for the XRP ledger. So first up, we know that gold XAU is blasted to an all-time price, whereas silver is just getting there, taking out its recent highs right there with the wick, but still below its all-time price. I saw this shared by Good Morning Crypto. We have Meld Gold teams up with Ripple launching gold and silver tokens on the XRP ledger in Q3. So they'll be releasing 2 new stablecoins on the XRP ledger backed by gold and silver. Each token will represent 1 gram of gold or silver held by leading custody providers, MKS PAMP, and Imperial Vaults. If you'd like to learn more, you can visit this website. This is meld.gold. Explaining right here, Meld Gold's integration with the XRP ledger aims to help grow the XRPL DeFi ecosystem, offering the world's most accepted and largest cap assets on-chain. By on-ramping essential liquidity, new and existing users can capitalize on the XRP ledger's native features, including the DEX, the automated market maker, payment systems, and the coming EVM sidechain. One last thing for XRP, then we're going to dive into some recent news for HBAR. So we have Roth Economy sharing this April market report on cross-border payments. So we can see right here, total value of cross-border payments in 2023, $190 trillion. Going over the CAGR right here for cross-border business-to-business payments in the total addressable market, estimated to grow right here by 13.6%, reaching over $56 billion by 2030. We can see highlighting the SWIFT network remains dominant, but also mentioning right here from card networks, blockchain solutions like Ripple, and fintechs like AirWallex, Neum, and Wise. So we have Ripple, we have Tranglo, we have Neum, we have AirWallex, DLocal or DLocale. These are all users of RippleNet. Since years ago, we have AirWallex in 2017 and DLocal or DLocale on Ripple's website. Also guys, for anybody interested, I did want to share that I did finally get the Palau ID a couple months back, and I was able to successfully KYC for 2 exchanges, BitTrue and MEXC. So over the past year, I lost access, but I am fully back using the Palau ID. So I'll link this in the top of the YouTube video description. So you can also find this right in my link tree at the top of the YouTube video description, and if you scroll down, we can see the Palau ID right there, Web3 digital ID. We also have MEXC right there. I do have an active campaign for anybody interested that would like to sign up. We can see deposit and trade to earn $20,000. So I did ask my contact over at MEXC if using the Palau ID is supported by MEXC, and they said this, so I'll just read the quote. If you are able to KYC under Palau using the Palau ID method, it is something that we fully support 100%. Therefore, if you have friends, colleagues, even referrals that you're communicating with, feel free to show them this method. The only thing I'd say is that the US is still generally a region in which we do not serve users. You can interpret that how you like. So it did take me a while to get access to MEXC. With BitTrue is pretty quick. I had to send some selfies and just record myself speaking to confirm it was me. So for anybody interested, I have both of these links right in my link tree for the Mexi exchange and the Palau ID. Alright, next up, we have some breaking news from the HBAR Foundation, Canary Capital, the first United States HBAR trust. So Canary Capital Group, a digital asset-focused investment firm, announced its official launch alongside the debut of its first trust offering, the Canary HBAR Trust. We have Stephen McClurg, former co-founder and CIO of Valkyrie Funds, the issuer of the Valkyrie Bitcoin ETF, established Canary Capital. So this HBAR Trust is the first dedicated HBAR investment vehicle in the United States. A private offering that provides qualified investors secure exposure to HBAR, so really cool. And last point right here, this is the first of its kind access point for US institutions to acquire HBAR. Now, any RIAs or institutional capital in the United States that was previously sidelined, despite recognizing the industry-leading scalability and performance of the Hedera network, can today acquire the HBAR token. And one final thing to finish up today's video, I saw Hedera share this. We're excited to have Terminal 3.io as part of the Hedera ecosystem. So this Terminal 3 group is thrilled to announce our integration with the Hedera Asset Tokenization Studio. So working with, I believe, the Hashgraph Association, the HBAR Foundation on the launch of the Hedera Asset Tokenization Studio, a comprehensive solution that simplifies the configuration, issuance, and management of RWAs, including tokenized bonds and equities. So just think of this as an end-to-end toolkit for regulatory compliant digital asset ecosystems. Through their reusable KYC and compliance capabilities for institutions and developers to achieve a seamless transition into the world of digital assets. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button and sharing your thoughts down below. As always, you can find all links, including resources for charting, trading bots, platforms, wallets, portfolio trackers, and exclusive discounts in my link tree at the top of the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.